The Chilling Case of Circleville Letter Writer. Ooh, okay. Never heard of that. The Chilling Case of the Circleville Letter Writer. So he just wrote letters? Alright, I'll get to the bottom of this. There's no, like, bodies in here, is there?
Terrifying prospects of a mystery is an unknown perpetrator pulling the strings, dedicating time and effort in order to torment others over long stretches of time. While it takes many people to make a community great, it only takes one to blanket it all in fear and leave people wondering behind locked doors and closed curtains if they'll be next. This episode of Seriously Strange is brought to you in part by Raid Shadow Legends.
Nice.
An impressive mobile game.
Wow, 2019. This guy was an early adopter of Raid Shadow Legends. Nice work, Rob.
Community of Circleville, Ohio in 1976.
I haven't heard of that
A
hybrid.
storm of anxiety and fear was heading for Circleville from nearby Columbus, Ohio. The storm came in the form of anonymous letters, postmarked but without a return address.
This is scary.
Just as they were surely intended. The letters reached numerous people throughout Circleville. Unwitting recipients opened the envelopes to find a strangely written letter. This letter contained what just about anyone would fear. The writer somehow knew some of the darkest, most intimate secrets of the residents of Circleville.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Sometime later, an anonymous letter ended up in the hands of a bus driver named Mary Gillespie. In the letter, the writer had accused the married woman of something that shocked her, an affair. Mary had been in a faithful marriage with her husband Ron for years.
Is this all made up? Is this real?
Certainly wasn't having an affair. But the letter was a bit more specific. The writer claimed that they knew Mary was having an affair with the superintendent of the school system, Gordon Massey. Mary, being a bus driver, understood the possible complications that would arise if this kind of rumor were to begin spreading around. But there was no hiding it. The Circleville Letter Writer wouldn't have that. Eventually, word did get around, like so many other rumors did concerning others.
Don't know about that one,
Cole. The people of Circleville were starting to look at each other differently, as this unknown entity seemed hell-bent on destroying and exposing their lives.
It's kind of their fault, though, right? Like, you're fucking the superintendent?
Received his own letter.
Kind of your fault.
And Mary remained steadfast against the rumors, insisting on her faithfulness and integrity. But all they could wonder
this does seem very fake.
Where the accusation was coming from, and who was making it to begin with. Who was dedicating countless hours to writing the anonymous letters which tormented the residents of Circleville. Sometime after what most people feared could happen, did happen. Things escalated in an even darker turn of events.
Voicemails.
Specifically for Mary.
Oh, shit.
She received another letter from the anonymous writer. In it, they said, "Gillespie, you have had 2 weeks and done nothing. Admit the truth and inform the school board. If not, I will broadcast it on CBS, posters, signs, and billboards."
Yeah, I'm sure CBS cares about Mary fucking the superintendent of a small town.
The family more than the previous letters had. So Mary and Ron got together with people they were closest with to discuss what possible actions to take. Among them was Ron's sister and her husband, Paul Freshour. Unfortunately, they were fighting an unseen enemy with copious amounts of time and willpower on their side, and with an ability to remain undetected.
This kind of sucks. It's pretty lame.
One particular letter turned up the heat. It read, "Stay away from Massey. Don't lie when questioned about knowing him. I know where you live. I've been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious. Everyone concerned has been notified, and everything will be over soon. Whoever this writer was, they made the Gillespies fear for the lives of their children. In 1977, the year after the letters
Most
began,
likely Postman
the
did it.
letters suddenly stopped.
Yes.
A quiet relief began to fall on the town as each resident hoped that the nightmare was finally over and they would no longer need to fear walking to their own mailbox. They'd no longer need to be paranoid if someone was watching them day in and day out, jotting down their secrets.
This is pretty underwhelming.
No one was looking.
Super goofy.
But it wasn't over. If anything,
Thanks for your
they were
wilderness.
only at the very beginning. On August 17th of that same year, the Gillespie household received not a letter, but a phone call. Ron answered the phone and got into a heated discussion with whoever was on the other line. It was so heated that Ron, after a short time, slammed down the phone, grabbed his handgun, and ran out to his car without saying a single word to Mary. He slammed on the gas and drove off.
Holy shit,
That's
Ron.
when Mary's worst nightmare came to pass. Ron never returned home.
What
He was
in the
found
fuck?
later, dead. His car had crashed into a tree and Ron was dead behind the wheel. Upon inspection by authorities, Ron's handgun had been fired. Yet there was no known cause for this. It was unlikely that the gun had been fired as a result of the accident.
Thanks to the prime
as
lure.
authorities, despite their rigorous inspection of the site, were unable to prove that it was.
Why was Ron so upset? It was his wife fucking another man.
The police ruled
He should be
that
happy
the
to the letter
accident
writer.
was caused by Ron driving drunk. Those who knew him said he never even drank heavily. Shortly after that, the letters made a return, and the sheriff was one of the people targeted. His letter accused him of conducting a cover-up based on Ron Gillespie's accident. That drunk driving wasn't the actual cause at all.
Thanks to Resubgenics, Sinister,
Why
and
the
the Prime
Circleville
Clinton.
Letter Writer was angry about this was
The Resub
unknown,
Big Bat.
considering that it's been speculated that Ron was driving to find them. Perhaps the letter writer did come into contact with Ron once he had left his home. Perhaps he caused Ron's death, and maybe he was angry that he didn't get the credit he was due for it.
What do you mean?
All
Why would
this
he get
aside,
credit? He hit a
once
fucking tree.
more, the town of Circleville
He didn't put the tree
felt
there.
the same sense of dread and fear that plagued their everyday lives. The letters were back in full force, and the culprit
Hey, thanks
was
for
no
5 gift subs,
closer
Lambs
to
Gooch.
being
Thank you, man.
caught. In a bizarre turn of events, Mary and the superintendent of schools, Gordon Massey, did confirm that they were indeed carrying on a relationship. However, they both insisted that the relationship only began after they had received letters. They connected due to the allegations and ended up becoming closer as a result, in some strange form of a self-fulfilling prophecy. That aside, the letters continued to flow. It went on like that for 7 years. The letters just continuing to come, with authorities having no way of finding out who was sending them. Mary and Gordon Massey continued to receive especially threatening letters. Then one day, while Mary was driving back along her bus route after dropping off her passengers, she was mortified to discover that the street was lined with signs, each one directed at Mary and carrying the same threatening.
This does not seem like a real story. Hold on, I just gotta look it up. This really seems super fucking fake. Nope, it's real. In 1976, they called him the Poison Pin Murderer. Oh, it looks like they have a few leads on the case. Yeah, I'll try not to spoil the anime ending, I guess. But yeah, I guess it is real, at least according to these news outlets. Thanks to Badger and Liam and the Bits Batman.
Shockingly, no one saw who put the signs up. It was as if they were dealing with a ghost. But Mary had had enough. She got out of the bus and stormed up to the first sign, which was stuck on a fence post. She took the sign down without realizing just how much danger she was in by doing so. Her surprising calmness when removing the
Why was she
sign
in danger?
saved her life, as the sign had been rigged as a trap.
What?
It was connected to a small box. Inside the box was a pistol aimed right at Mary's face, with wire connected to the trigger.
Who is this,
The
Jigsaw?
handgun trap was designed so that if someone aggressively ripped down the sign, it would have gone off. Mary gathered everything up carefully, put it all on the bus, and drove home to
Thanks to
contact
Resub
the
Pepper and
police.
Snake.
The police arrived
Thanks,
and
Ray.
disabled
Thanks for
the
the Prime,
trap
J&J.
before confiscating the handgun. When they inspected it closer, they noticed that the serial number on the weapon was partially scratched off, but not entirely. It was enough to trace the handgun back to a man that Mary knew personally, Paul Freshour, her former brother-in-law.
Ooh.
The same man that had offered her support through the terrifying ordeal which lasted a long 7 years was allegedly the culprit behind the dread
Paul,
of
you son of a
Circleville.
bitch.
However, on October 24th,
Thanks, Resub
1983,
Dan.
Paul stood trial, and due to the firearm and a penmanship test that was found to be inconclusive, a jury sent Paul to prison for a sentence ranging from 7 to 25 years. It appeared as though Circleville was finally through what would have been
Until
the worst
Paul
ordeal
escaped.
to ever sweep through the
He
quiet
mailed
town.
himself like a letter and
Oddly
popped
enough,
out.
Even after Paul was behind bars, the letters made a powerful return. For some time longer, the residents would, yet again, be pinned under the immense weight of their fear and paranoia. Perhaps the strangest part of all was that Paul Freshour also received his own letter, the writer laughing at him. The letter stated partially, "Are you going to believe you aren't getting out of there? I told you 2 years ago. We
What?
set 'em up, they stay set up. Don't you listen at all? No one wants you out. No one. The joke is on you. Ha ha. Tell no one of this letter." Despite this, Paul did the remainder of his time,
Okay.
being released after around 10 years.
Yeah, I guess it's
in
just the
prison.
Joker.
He maintained his innocence without wavering until his death in 2012. So, what do you think? Was Paul guilty of being the Circleville Letter Writer, or did he just take the fall? Let me know in the comments below,
you know,
and be sure to subscribe.
I don't fucking think Paul did it. I can't believe that's a real fucking story. That sounds so made up. And they keep saying that the whole town was terrorized by letters, but we only got two people getting letters. Who else got letters in Circleville? Let's see. Paul did admit to Sheriff Radcliffe that he had written between 40 and 50 of the Circleville letters. I'm guessing it was just a copycat. Recent information uncovered by Martin Yant has suggested that there were at least 3 letter writers in the case, none of whom were Paul. One believed to be the son of the superintendent Mary had the affair with, second, co-worker who was infatuated with Mary, and third, Paul's ex-wife, Ron's sister. Jesus, okay. Not exactly a mystery. Well, I guess it is a mystery. But there's nothing we can piece together. So, I mean, Paul did admit to it. Everything kind of checks out for Paul. Though, to be fair, Mary immediately going to the superintendent after Ron's death is kind of suspicious. Though I don't think she was writing the letters herself. I also really don't know why Ron went to kill the man who wrote the letter that was informing him that his wife was cheating. He should have been shaking the letter writer's hand instead of fucking going to blast him. Make sure to smash that like button and thumbs up, ring the bell, tell your mom I said hi. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.